first ever one that I came to was just life-changing, and it really, really, really is. And I know obviously, you know, we come to do the work ourselves, but you as the facilitator with your amazing plant medicine was what did it. So it started, obviously we'd come into the ceremony and we'd sat down and everything, we'd set all the intentions, and I was sat right next to you, and I'd had like a little premonition. I was born with a rare hereditary blood disorder, so we used to have transfusions and stuff growing up as a kid. I had my spleen and my gallbladder taken out. This was just life, this is how it was, and this is what I was living with. To be honest, all clients are different, but everything always stems back to childhood. Yeah. So it's something that's gone on there.
It's the affirmation. You're saying full power. You're not saying can I have a partially powered kind of like. Hi guys, welcome to the Full Power podcast with me, Liam Browne. Today we've got another amazing guest which I've been really excited to get on the show. She's called Jennie. She's from Align Authentic Self, and she has been on a mad journey over the last couple of years, and she keeps telling me all the time that it's down to full power cacao and my cacao ceremonies. So I want to hear all about it today. What go on, Jen?
What go on?
You good?
I am all good. I'm just so pleased to be here.
Me too, man. It's great to have you on the show. So, yeah, the cacao. We got, you know, obviously we're going to delve into your journey a little bit, but I think just to start with, like, why did the cacao? Like you tell me all the time, one of the people who's actually come up to me ceremony after ceremony and told me something positive that's happened since the last one, and it's like incredible. And I know that happens to a lot of people, but for you it's really kind of like you keep telling, like, it definitely was that moment. And so just tell us about what happened, what was going on in the ceremonies that just kind of changed you in such a way.
I mean, obviously I've had like a profound effect after all of them, but the first ever one that I came to was just life-changing, and it really, really, really is. And I know obviously, you know, we come to do the work ourselves, but you as the facilitator with your amazing plant medicine was what did it. So it started, obviously we'd come into the ceremony and we'd sat down and everything, we'd set all the intentions, and I was sat right next to you, and I'd had like a little premonition that, you know, I'm gonna get a little bit teary in this ceremony, and that was it. And I'd just like to point out, I did get dragged to that ceremony, do you know what I mean? I just wasn't in a space to want to come to these things yet, you know, got to start your spiritual path, but I wasn't ready for all that yet. So yeah, I started drinking it, and just the next minute, just tears were pouring down my face. And I don't think I was really ready for the amount of tears that was about to come down.
Don't think my tissue box was either.
Yeah. I knew from then afterwards, like every time I came to a cacao ceremony after that, I came armed with a toilet roll and a box of tissues and was like delving them out to people. But yeah, in the end of it, I just thought, there's a judgment here I've got to make, right? I either sit and try and cry quietly in the corner and, like, you know, not expose myself to judgment of people, or I'm just like absolute no F's given. I just need to let this raw. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. And I was the person, and not lying to you, I was in the corner, because it needed to come out. There was so much that just wanted to just pour out of me. Like, it was, but that's what it was. And it got to the point now, and in my head I was like, this is so loud now. So I did actually take the executive decision to get my blanket and put it over my head and just cry immensely loud under there. And obviously I was sat next to you, and you was playing your little instrument that you were doing. It was drowning me out. Perfect. Harmonium, and that's exactly what it was. It was a noisemaker that day, and it was needed to be done. But I feel like me crying, it kind of like, you know, other people looking around like, if she's crying like that, then it's okay for me to just let out a little tear. So I think my experience allowed other people to also shed a little bit.
It's Pringles, isn't it? Once one pops, they all pop.
I don't feel like
once
I was
you pop,
ready.
Don't stop.
I wasn't ready to stop though, because at the end of the ceremony you do this lovely bit where you get everyone up and they start dancing. I was like, have I got to stop crying now? Like, I was just ready to keep releasing. So
5 hours and you still have more.
Honestly, it really was. I was crying and crying and crying, and like, if I describe what was happening, because I don't feel like I've ever explained to you what was happening energetically wise. So it wasn't just a case of crying. The stuff that I was experiencing, like, and I don't, anybody who does energy work, maybe they can actually tell me what was going on. But like, everything was squeezing from my stomach down and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And have you ever seen that, have you ever seen The Green Mile where the guy like takes hold of something, he like takes all the badness out and then he like opens his mouth and all this comes out, and that's what I felt was happening. So as I'm squeezing and my neck throws back and it's like pushing out, and I feel like it's the energy literally, because energy stores within us, doesn't it? And that's what your high vibrational plant medicine does. And I feel like people don't really grasp it sometimes. They're like, how can that do that? And it's like, it does, because it comes along and gives you a beautiful shake up and just shakes it all out.
Yeah, and it's trying to align you, and it's trying to bring that harmony.
Is it trying to
so
align?
And it's trying to like, so if you're well out of alignment, it's going to bring loads out, because you know there's stuff in there that needs processing. But what was funny was that the next ceremony that you came up to me and you told me some of the things that had changed in your life since that first one, and then you said, I don't know if you remember me, but I was the one at the right crying all the way through. I was like, yeah, I remember you. Don't worry, I remember.
Did it make a lasting impact? That's all I want to know.
We collected your tears and sold them on the dark web. We got loads for them because they were painful tears.
Buy them, you know.
Yeah. Just little sip, little shot of like pain tears.
Trauma tears.
People who love the darkness. It's like, a bit more.
Dark web dark.
Get some Northern English darkness and trauma. Yum.
Shot of trauma tears.
So basically, like, obviously, like, for you to come to that first cacao ceremony was a big step for you, wasn't it? Because before that, you was not in a great place. So why was there such a resistance? What was going on for you anyway before it, and why was there such a resistance to come to a cacao ceremony?
So to start it all off, I think it's like, and I know you hate a story.
No, go. You fucking need stories on this show.
You do need stories on this show.
Just not in the ceremonies.
No, the thing is though, I admire that though, because I think if you give people the space to, they'd be like, Liam, this is everything that's going wrong in my life, and you're like, I'm not here to find out what's going wrong, I'm here to help you like create the right. So if you had given people that space, but now you have allowed me this space, I'm crying your shoulder. So obviously I was born with a rare hereditary blood disorder, so we used to have transfusions and stuff growing up as a kid. I had my spleen and my gallbladder taken out, and I think it's only when like this to me was just the norm, so this was just life, this is how it was, and this is what I was living with. But if you imagine that everything as a child what I was experienced, it was all trauma, so it's all like just collecting nicely within the body. And you don't really, it's like, have you ever read the book The Body Keeps the Score? And it's true, whatever happens to you in your life, like obviously the subconscious mind is logging it all, like take that on, and if we're not really processing it and allow it to come out, like it's just kind of storing within us. So obviously you've got all that that's going on. And then later on in life, then I developed PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So for anybody who's never heard of that is struggling with the hormones, please give it a Google, because it's so rare. And everything that I was experiencing, suicidal thoughts, like so basically you're allergic to your own hormones. So before the, I know it goes deep, but before the happy time of the month, like because your hormones start to escalate, you getting suicidal thoughts. I was just getting so angry. I was just upset. So there was just like an emotional range of emotions that I just didn't know how to deal with. And again, it's unresolved trauma, again, just storing within you. So again, I suppose I want to bring this to light, that if people are suffering with this, please don't suffer alone. Because with these suicidal thoughts, I thought to myself, oh, this is just normal PMS, everybody else is experiencing this. But I was just cracking on with life, just literally just getting on. And at the time, I was hitting the weekends hard. I just wanted to escape reality. I wanted to escape everything that I was experiencing. Like I was so drained, so tired, so emotional, so angry. So like the only thing for me to do was, I was a single parent at the time, just get rid of the kid at the weekend, go to his dad's, just hit it hard and escape my reality. So when my beautiful friend, Catherine Henshaw, as we both know, was like, come and sit on a cacao, on a yoga mat with me at the weekend and drink cacao. I'm like, no thanks.
I need to lose myself.
I do. I don't want to give my time and my space for that. And she had to ask me for quite a few times. And she's like, come on now, you really need to.
A couple of years once she was on your case.
I think there was, and it's like, obviously her higher self had kind of known, like, Jennie needs to start this journey now. And it's like my ego and my higher self, they was having this turmoil, and my ego was like, no, it's still just what I've coming in at 11 in the morning. I don't want to go and sit on your nice little yoga mat drinking cacao and singing Kumbaya. It just wasn't in my remit.
I wanted you there smelling like that. just put all incense around you, like a bubble of protection for us.
She's got some darkness coming on her. But yeah, just like this one time, and I was like, right, I'm doing it, I'm booking my ticket, and yeah, it was well necessary. Well necessary. I don't think that's good English, but it was.
It's Mancunian English. Well necessary, mate.
Well necessary. But yeah, I just feel like everything that I was experiencing, and like I got to the point in my life when I was just like, why is all this happening to me? And it was absolute victim mindset, like this kind of, I didn't like to use the word trauma, because to me a traumatic event, you know, had to be something like mega serious. But I suppose it was mega serious, but I was just downplaying my own experience. So it was just this, you know, it was, why me? Why is this happening to me? And in the end, I'm like, this has happened to me. Like my mindset now, like everything I've experienced is like, boom.
Flipped it.
Yeah. And everything that I've experienced in my life has made me who I am today. It's allowed me to facilitate the changes and the transformation in my clients and in my family and in my friends. So yeah, I give blessings for the journey that I've been on. It's been an absolute bumpy ride.
That's the training. You wouldn't be able to do what you're doing if you didn't have that training.
No, definitely.
If you didn't have that, then going into the depths of hell, going into the dark moments, going into suicide, or you know, thinking you want to check out, and especially I guess having a kid as well, that's even more intense, because you're like, I'm checking out and I've got a kid and I'm leaving a kid behind. Oh, I think it just changed day.
Oh, did it?
Or something. Something happened. What happened, Nick?
I have no idea.
It's August the 6th, we think. So yeah, like, and obviously having a kid and then considering checking out must be like an even deeper head fuck. But like, what was the darkest it got then before you kind of showed up to the cacao ceremonies?
So just to point out as well, this darkness I was experiencing, so I'm well into, like, it was the law of polarity. Like when I was at the darkest, I would only need Mother Nature to roll on, you know, Aunt Flo to come and visit, and then everything would go back to normal again. So it's likened to bipolar. So I was going from the deepest, darkest depths of depression, not loving myself, not wanting to be here, just absolutely hating everything around me, to the next minute, you know, an energy shift. It was like, I absolutely fucking love life, you know, and like this is what was happening. It was a constant like Jekyll and Hyde situation. And the darkest that I got to was in January 2021. So this was the year that I came to the cacao ceremony, and it was all stemming up towards this. And I always sort of say to my clients, like, you have like a slider, and it's like, it starts off as being a problem, and it's only when it starts getting moved across to when the problem starts causing pain that it tips the scales, that you're willing to do something about it. And I was living with it for years. I was living with a lot of discomfort and pain, again, all in the, you know, in the female region, just a lot of anger with it. And it got to the point every month, you know, it's like my son would be in bed and I'd go and sit on the floor next to him and I'd be crying my eyes out, looking at him like asleep, thinking, you deserve so much better than me as a mother, because I just felt like I was the world's worst mother, because I couldn't even read him a story. Like, there was no breath in my lungs to be able to read him a story. Like, I'd try reading him a story at night and I'd fall asleep before him. And then like, I couldn't even pick him up. I was so angry sometimes as well, you know, that he'd do the slightest thing and I'd go off at him. Like, I'd ripped his letter up to Santa one time and screaming at him, like, smashed his iPad, like, and that's not me, that's not who I am, but this is where like the PMDD took me to. And then, so obviously it was just, your mindset was just spinning down and down, and then with it as well. So I think it's kind of like classed as perimenopause symptoms as well, which again, if anybody's experiencing this, please go and get help. You know, I feel like raising awareness with this.
I can only say perimenopausal in a Brummy accent. Perimeno. Don't know why. I always say it in a Brummy accent. Joanna's all, she's like always perimeno. She loves perimeno. Obsessed with it.
You're making it sound like a band.
Perimeno! Yeah! Perimeno. We love perimeno. Sorry, perimeno.
Perimeno, but I feel like it's kind of likened to that. And it's, again, so
the hormones are going crazy, thoughts are going crazy, and stuff you don't know who you are, what you want.
No, and it's within these times as well. I feel like this is where I learn everything that I put into like my coaching course. So it got to the point of I had to actually write. So like when I was in my happy mood, I had to write a letter to myself so that when I was at my deepest, darkest depression, I would have to read it to remind myself, to try and bring myself up. I was trying to raise my own vibration in effect, you know, like by saying like, this isn't how it is kind of thing.
Yeah. So during this time you're having coaching?
No.
Okay.
This is the stuff that I was doing myself to try and like pull myself out of it. So some nights I'd be up all night, like I just couldn't sleep. I'd just be crying my eyes out. And I was trying to work at this point as well. So I was trying to obviously work full time, be a full-time parent. And it was in the middle of...
You had a super masculine job as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
What did you do?
My corporate job. I sold plywood.
Sold plywood?
Yeah.
Just on the side of a street?
No. It's
Got a little bit of plywood left here. Do you want a little bit of plywood? Left over from a job.
Just open it like different coloured bits of plywood.
Do you know, I did love my job at the time though, to be fair.
Well, what was it then? What was you doing? You were selling it like globally, weren't you?
Yeah. So at the time though, it was in the middle of lockdown. So obviously all distractions got taken away. You know, like being able to go out with my friends and be able to do this. So I know everyone experienced like something horrible through COVID, but I went through a spiritual awakening COVID. And I feel like quite a lot of people did as well, because all the bullshit of life got took away. And they were literally sat in a house on their own with only the thoughts and feelings to deal with, really.
And the only events that were going on were Lee and Browne events.
Well, I didn't want to mention that. He said it on me. I'm going to get fined now.
You wasn't there.
I came to one of them.
Shh. Tell anyone.
But yeah, so it was just a lot going on. And I think the worst one that happened was I'd had this phone call with a gynecologist, and like I was hoping, right, you know, everything's on this one, and yeah, I just got told in the end, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. You've got gastroenteritis problems, there's nothing wrong with your hormones. So you just go and get a camera up your stomach. So I got off the phone and it's just caused a massive meltdown, like a big breakdown. So I think that night I just couldn't sleep. Everything was just spiraling, because I feel like this was my last ditch attempt to try and get some help. So I started.
So it's kind of like rock bottom.
This was rock bottom, and then like again I was trying to pull myself out. So I got a nice piece of paper and I was like, right, I'm gonna write some positive affirmations, just there crying my eyes out. I tried doing tapping as well. So do you know EFT, emotional freedom technique? And as I was doing it, like all the salt in my eye, like down my tears was just getting rubbed in, and I was trying so hard to try and bring myself up from where it was, but it just wasn't happening. And so yeah, I started trying to write, you know, all these positive things, and in the end, it was just like penning. It was like why the world would be a better place without me. 9 pages I wrote, and it was just a traumatic letter to whoever wanted to listen to it. But I feel like that was my turning point, because I woke up the next day, I was like, this can't go on anymore. So yeah, that was it. And then obviously a couple of months later, that's when the cacao ceremony came in. So I feel like it was just kind of exactly what I needed at exactly that right point in my life, where I had already made the decision, I need to change. Yeah. So, and then yeah, along in you came.
I don't do anything. Just hold a space. but no, so from that like experience then to like, obviously what happened then? What were your motivations? How did your life start to change? Like, obviously you're doing the coaching now. When did that drop in? Just talk us through the timeline really, from that moment of that huge release that was necessary during that cacao ceremony to then like almost where you are now. Do you know what I mean? And smashing it.
Yeah. So I think the cacao ceremony, I can't quite get the date in my head, but I feel like, so it's 2021, I'm going to guess about March maybe.
Before full Power Cacao, wasn't it? Yeah.
Sometime around there. I wish I knew the date for that one.
Yeah, I think it was the beginning, yeah, because it was at Di's place, and Di's place, that was before we started doing them at Jake's place. So
yeah, it was the yoga one.
It was like 20 people coming to that. That's when I'd started to upscale. That was
my
first upscale to 20 people in a cacao ceremony. And that was big, man. Like, I hadn't been to any cacao ceremonies that had 20 people at them, that were 5 hours long in England anyway, at that time.
I enjoyed it. It was good. Yeah. So since that one then, I feel like it kind of gave me a springboard, if that made sense. So I don't know if you can do a lot of mindset and energy work yourself, but I feel like that kind of gave me the shake up that was needed. So obviously I completely ignored the doctor's advice that I got given in the January saying that there's absolutely nothing wrong with me, because deep down I'm a very intuitive person. I knew exactly what I needed. So I set out on a path to go in.
You can only see it if your leg's hanging off. It's like, yeah, there's something wrong with you there.
I know, yeah.
It's like your fucking insides are hanging off. You want to kill yourself. It's like, oh, it's fucked. And if you could see inside my head. It's like, but they can't.
No,
you can just see these. That's why they're good for fixing your legs and operating on you if you need an operate. You know what I mean? It's like broken bones. Go see a doctor.
Anything internal, they're just
everything emotional, like mental, spiritual. The worst person you can go and see.
Well, she'd never. So she was a gynecologist, and she'd never heard of PMDD.
Did you have to do the whole Did you have to? Was it on Zoom?
No.
So how'd you have a test on Zoom? Like,
no, I didn't. Bearing me own stirrups.
Yeah, you're all right.
No, I was just on the phone talking about crying through what was happening. So I was like pouring my heart out to this woman on the phone. She's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with me. I was like, nice one. So that was the like Buckaroo when you place the final thing on it and just everything goes off after that. That's what happened.
Well, I guess in a way that's like a blessing, because then it goes, actually, fuck you, there is something wrong with me and I need to figure it out and start kind of making myself better.
Yeah. Well, I went and got a different doctor, and then just described everything. It was like, yeah, this needs to happen. So from then on I pursued having a hysterectomy, because I knew that was the path that I needed to go down. So before you have that one, they do a little test drive to see if you can hack menopause. So that's when they obviously start giving you loads of nice chemicals, shutting everything down, and everything felt nice and bliss at that point.
So it's like a menopause, is it?
What do you mean?
So when you have a hysterectomy, you get all the symptoms of a menopause.
You are so you're in surgical menopause.
Okay.
Because they take out everything. So your ovaries are what give you hormones.
Yeah.
So that's what regulates all your hormones.
Okay.
So when you have everything out, you've got nothing to regulate your hormones.
Right.
So yeah.
So do you basically experience is it like a more condensed menopause, or is it spread out?
It's so. I guess because the thing is, though, like to me, it's not unfortunate, because I'm going to say people who are experiencing menopause in a natural way, they have this natural decline. So it's like, you're not going down a roller coaster really slow and it's like, whereas mine just did it. Okay. And then when I did it, it's just done then. Yeah. So I get people now like, oh, can I borrow a tampon? Oh, sorry. You know, like, and I'm like, don't say sorry for me. I don't have to deal with none of this pain. Like, I don't have any of this bloating, the sickness, the pain, the bleeding. Like, that's on you now. Like, I absolutely love where I'm at. So again, though, it's that mindset of
don't have to have contraception. Don't have to put anything nasty in your body.
Exactly. Everything just all natural. And again, though, I feel like it's on my path that I was meant to happen. So so I'd embarked on having this hysterectomy. And again, the universe aligned everything. So I should have had it in July. And again, it was in the calendar. It was circled, you know, when you're counting down like for Christmas, waiting for it. And as it was coming up to it, and everything happens in divine timing. And again, I was like proper waiting for it. And I started to feel a little bit ill. And I was like, no. And I just thought it was because I was stressed, because I was trying to do like 6 weeks worth of work, trying to get everything sorted for work. I was trying to get everything done. And I started getting a little bit ill, and I'm like, no, it's just stress. Anyway, I went for the COVID test like 2 days before the operation, like, you got COVID. I was like, fuck's sake. So I rang Catherine straight away, and I was like, I'm not having it. And she's like, Jennie, everything is happening for you, not to you. And as soon as she said it, boom, mindset change. Like, as soon as I realised, like, again, I'm not a victim of my situation. The universe is going, listen, I've got something better for you, Jen. And I tell you what, because I was going to have the operation in July, so I would have been out for the whole of August. So in that August, I had the best August ever. Like, I was going to, you know, experiencing some nice raves, going to like day festivals, but I wouldn't have been able to do all that. And then obviously then the time came for me to have it in August, and everything just went smoothly. So just divine timing.
Sweet. That's the big thing with us as well. Like, everything that we is like, just don't sweat anything that's out of your control. Like, you can't control like if you can't have an operation or a doctor doesn't turn up. It's just like control what you can, and then realise, having that understanding, then realisations that, you know, it just makes life so much easier. It's like, could I have had anything better to do with that? No. Okay, cool.
I think that's for the importance though of a mindset shift though, because at first you're like, you look
you want to blame everyone, you want to blame yourself, you want to blame why me, and it's like, well, yeah, everything's happening for you.
All that is happening as it is.
And there's no need to stress, because it's
a blessing just to live.
She's got it.
She has.
Good word.
So
you got your ovaries taken out.
Literally, so as I'm
Where
like...
did they put them once they're out?
Well, I don't know, feed them to the dog or something.
Oh, do they?
I've always...
Their own dog or your dog? Or do you get them to feed to your dog? I said that when my friend had a leg off and one of her grandkids come in and he was like...
Had a leg off?
She had cancer, but she had to have a leg off, and one of her grandkids like come in and was like... said he was stood there and he was like looking where the leg would have been, and he went, Grandma? She's like, yeah, and he went, where's your leg now? And she was like, it's a good question, I don't really know where it is.
Do you think they just bin them?
I don't know, they probably just like go and burn them, don't they? But she was like, I didn't really know, but you could tell he was like so intrigued of where this leg was now, like
spare leg.
Can I have it? Just have it on his wall, like it's my grandma's leg.
Tone pole in the corner of the room. You could just see it's one of them, like, you know, a lampshade.
Oh yeah, or just like, you know, your protection. You just like, you what bit? Just got battered by a guy biting with his grandma's leg. Or Liam Withenshaw. Sorry, so you don't know where your ovaries are?
Don't know where they are, totally lost it.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was laying on there, ready to go down.
Sorry.
Surgeon, I absolutely digressed. Lay on the surgeon table, ready to go down, and honestly, this was like the turning point and the power of intention. And I know you always say to set an intention before your ceremonies, and this is the power of intention. It is the words and the energy that you are sending out. And I was lay there, and I was just like, right, when you wake up, and it was a promise to myself. It's like, you're just going to be a completely different person. Like, you're going to be well, you're going to be healed, not having any of this. And I literally told myself exactly what I wanted for myself when I woke up. And then when I woke up again, massive energy shift was happening. And it's obviously you don't just wake up and it's like Mary Poppins, you know, like everything is rosy. But yeah, from then on it was like...
You've got a bit of recovery from that as well though, haven't you? Like, it's not just...
No, yeah, you got your recovery, but within that, so we had 6 weeks off from work.
Yeah.
And again, I was just scrolling on Facebook, was like, do you want to train to be a life coach? I was like, I think I do, you know, like it just called to me. So yeah, I enrolled to go on and do this life coaching course. And again, I wouldn't have had the time and the space to do it if I hadn't had 6 weeks off healing from the hysterectomy. Because you had to do a lot of, you know, listening in and going live on things and, you know, dedicating a lot of hours.
Yeah.
So I did all this training and trained to be a life coach. So from then on, I started coaching people like in the evenings and in my spare time and things. So yeah, it's been on the back burner for quite a while, but you get to this point where it's like, right, well, I've got my corporate job here now and I've got this one, and I'm trying to do both at the same time, and it's not really happening and it's not really working. And yeah, something had to give. And my higher self is like, we're not meant to be here anymore now. And I wasn't willing to take the jumps. So my higher self was like, bibbity bobbity boom, and it just made me ill, and I couldn't work anymore. I was just crying constantly again and again. It's that tipping scale of, if you're not prepared to make change, if your journey and your path is made for higher things or for better things, like the universe makes it so the universe
will make it so uncomfortable that until you are ready to step into the life that serves you.
That's exactly it. It's like, and out of that because it's discomfort, we're just making words up here. But again,
uncomfortableness.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I don't even know if that's a word.
No, neither do I.
Oh, we're from South Manchester, we don't have vocabulary.
We like to make our own words up. But yeah, out of that discomfort, it has to make it uncomfortable. You have to for change to happen. And yeah, I left my job and started my coaching career full time. So manifestation mindset mentor.
Say that again.
Manifestation and mindset mentor.
Okay, and that's what you trained in, or is that like what you've kind of developed your own thing into?
So you train as a life coach, and then from then you bring on your expertise from what's happened in your life to what you want to be. So the thing is in life is like, they always say to you, like, you've got to niche down. Who do you want to help? And it's like, right, well, do I help people that have had a chronic illness because I've like helped myself heal from that? Do I help people that have had hysterectomies and PMDD because obviously I've experienced that? Do I help people struggling as single mums because I helped do that? And it's like, it's racked my brain. I'm like, I don't know where to go with all this. And I started working with a business coach, and she's like, yeah, but everything you've experienced has allowed you to create a new life that you want to live. So how does manifestation and mindset mentor? And I was like, well, that's it, isn't it? Because it's everything. Like, no matter what you've experienced or what your background is, like, the problem doesn't have to be that specific problem. It's a feeling. Are you at the point in your life where the pain has allowed you to come to the tipping point now where you're just like, I don't want to live this life anymore, or I want to experience something different?
Yeah.
So
and that's ultimately what it is within like change and people like in a bad place. Like they'll all have a different story, but it's the same issue, really.
Yeah.
So it's like when people go to rehab, it's like these people from all over, they've got different stories, different ways that they've messed their life up. But ultimately, like the thing that they're suffering from is the same. It's just with a different set of circumstances. Do you know what I mean? That's why I don't let anyone talk in cacao ceremonies, because you know they want to bring things down. It's like, what we get rid of that. Let's go forward. Yeah, we can process it, we can release it, we can let it go, we can work through it. But ultimately, it's gone. If it's still showing up today, it's because you're allowing it to. Because something that happened 20 years ago should be there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's still part of the content of your life, but it's not your context. It's the content. It's not the context. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like that was one of the things that I resonated with in your cacao ceremonies, because like you say at the end, you know, when it was a lot smaller, you used to do that circle, you know, and let people speak. And again, you wanted people to just bring in the high vibration, and it was that. I just love it when
some people just can't do it though.
No, and they're like, oh well, I'm feeling really happy now, but this morning I felt really shit. You know, like, but I love it. Like you'd be sat there and like, I don't know. I feel like you are my little bit of a kindred spirit in a way. Although like we are both very blunt people. I feel like you're a bit more turbo blunt, and I respect that. And like you'd just be like playing your harmonium, he'd be like, leave all your bullshit out the door and all this, and I'm like, lay there like, go on Liam, because it's true though. Do you know what I mean? Because people want to hold on to the bullshit stories. Because we're addicted to our pain, we're addicted to our stories. And it's like when you get to a point when you want to shed your story and create a new one, call me. Like that's where it's at.
It's like when someone comes to you, it's like, oh, you know, since my accident 3 years ago. I was like, your accident 3 years ago? Like, what, how are you feeling now? Because I'm feeling that all through your body as you said that. It was 3 years ago. Like you just told me, like, why is it part of you? Who you are? Yeah. You've introduced me yourself as someone who had an accident 3 years ago. Like, I might have had an accident 3 years ago. I'm sure I fell off something 3 years ago, but do you know what I mean? I'm not fucking wearing it. But if you did have an accident, why has it not been pivotal in you transforming your life magically? Why is it something that's like, oh, I had an accident 3 years ago, and since then, you know, my brain's been up. It's like, so fucking what?
Let it go, let it go. But I think it's like, there's a massive lie kind of going on Earth, and it's like, we have got the ability to change our own lives. You know, we are facilitators, but but people are unconsciously manifesting. You're like, I fucking hate my life. And I was one of them. And that's what I want to show people. And it's like you become a conscious manifester by rewiring your mindset, letting go of your programs, releasing this energy. Because it's everything you're saying in life. And like people are focused on the problems, but it's like you've got to teach them to like outthink the current reality and visualize and move towards that. And that's what like my greatest work is really. And a lot of the work that you're saying in your guided meditations and things like that is tapping into those things. And it's like, you know, it's just allowing people to see that they're capable of so much more than what we are led to believe really.
Yeah, from that limited perception of what we can use of our mind, and you know, the what we think. It's like, you know, when people say, "Oh, you only got this possibilities because you brought up here or you brought up there." It's like, it's just bullshit, man. It's like these people who've been brought up in slums in India that are billionaires, that have been brought up in slums in you know, Brazil that are like world-renowned poets. It's like you can let your circumstance be the thing that holds you back, or you can let your circumstance be your superpower. Because if you're a fucking world-renowned poet, it's like, yeah, I'm from a slum, I didn't even go to school, and I'm smashing poetry out, and these people who've been like training in it for like 20 years, do you know what I mean? I've just won like the award for like the best poet, and these fuckers are all trying to do it all. It was like, was it Mozart? Is he the one who was like double young when he was like,
Mozart was dead young.
And then there was the other ones who were like really old, and they were trying to like hit these classics and create these classics, and he was just coming in, just doing it, bam bam, do you know what I mean?
Channeling it though, wasn't he?
Yeah, of course, that's what like child prodigies are. They're just remembering something that they've already done in a past life. They're not like, you can't be that gifted at something and from just learning it, do you know what I mean? It's something that you've already experienced, you've already got within you. It's like, you know, like when I'm doing the harmonium and certain things that I'm doing, I'm like, I've done this before, do you know what I mean? My teachers get a bit like pissed off because I'll be like, yo, show me how to sing that mantra. And I'm like, yeah, right, put Instagram on, we'll do it on Instagram. And they're like, what do you mean, you've just learned it? I was like, yeah, but if I do it in front of Instagram, then I've really got to learn it, because that's nerve-wracking. Then it's gonna like stay in my cells of my body because I've gone through the first nervous situation. Do you know what I mean? It's like the first time I drummed in my tent, like I hadn't used the drum before, I've been learning it a little bit. And there's a guy there, there's one guy in my ceremony, there's 13 people, one man, he's a fucking drummer. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake, he's a fucking drummer. I'm going to drum in a minute. Like, like, oh, Jesus. And you've got to sing at the same time. Like, I could do the drumming on its own, and then I was like, got to pull the singing in. It's like, there's a fucking drummer here, bastard. But you just got to go, do you know what? This is my space. Own it. Boom, smash it. It's like when people sit next to me, it's like, yeah, I'm a Reiki master. I'm like, oh, fuck, a Reiki master. And then I'm like, you know, they're gonna like call me out or like
you're not doing it right.
Like see me for something, like, and then get into it, drop them into the meditation, touch them, and they just cry their eyes out. I'm like, yeah, fuck you Reiki master.
Power. That's called power.
Have that. Can we just keep your tears, please? We'll sell them.
The dark tears, man.
These are Reiki master tears. These are extra expensive. We don't do that.
Oh, but tapping into what you said there about like, you know, you're knowing it from a past life, or, you know, like it's not learning, it's a remembering.
That's what life is, man.
It is a remembering, because obviously we've done it so many times before. But it's like when I'd learn, so I'm a master NLP practitioner as well, so that's neuro-linguistic programming.
Yes.
And when I'm learning the course, I'm literally sat there going, well, I know that, and I know that. And so all it was doing was giving me the names of the different exercises. But yeah, it was like, I already know that. I already know that. And it's mad. It's like, so I've not really had to sit there and really read the textbook and like, you know, thoroughly digest it and really learn it. It was just like, read it once, yeah, I know that. So again, it's all just intuitive, isn't it? When these things come natural to you.
Yeah, and it sparks remembrances, which is like insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when you know you're on your life path, when it's not hard work, it just comes naturally to you. Whereas when I was in my corporate job, I'm not the most mathematical person, and it was hard work trying to like do it.
Is that what it did?
But with this now, I just flow. I love it. I love having people sat in front of me and just coaching them.
So is that full time now then? That's your
main full
thing?
Time now, and I love it. Like just facilitating. You know, like how you've got it. You know, when people are sat there and you just got like an audience, people crying in front of you, like doing my job right. So when someone comes and they sits and they're just having this massive relief, and they can see that why they are, because stems all the way back, because how the dad treated them or the mum treated them or what happened, and when they see that and they can just go. And then they just heal it in that, you know, when they understand something, and they literally leave your session and they've like had an energetic shift, and they feel lighter. And I suppose it's like we're on the same path, we're doing the same work, but we're doing it in different ways. So yeah, it's heavy. Going and tweaking the mindset, rewire.
That's why I like doing it in such a like with lots of people, because then I don't have to have that kind of like I just send people who want one-to-ones with me. I just send them to people. I don't know, man. Like, every has the preference, don't they? But like one-to-ones are a little bit too, I don't know.
Up close and personal.
Yeah, I'm just not my thing. I don't think.
So I don't know how I do group coaching though, because everyone, I'm getting to the bottom of their problems. I couldn't do that on a mass scale, if that made sense.
But I never knew anything about your problem when we got to the bottom of it. without me ever talking to you about it, in a way, through the ceremony. Like if someone comes out of my ceremony and they go, fuck man, like I'm 60 years old, this guy's just told me that I've had a choice all the way through my life. I never fucking knew that I had a choice. And they're like, thank you for telling me that I had a choice. It's a game changer. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's always been a choice at every single moment of my life when there's been something that I've got to choose. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's getting married or living here or taking this course, there's always been a choice. It's not been forced into me, whereas a lot of people, it's like they didn't realise that they've had a choice, and then once they've then realised, they go, fuck, what am I going to do?
You feel
like,
empowered.
I'm 60, but I'm like, oh, I can do it. I can actually choose what I want to do.
Yeah, it's never too late to change your life, is it? You know, when people just get set in the ways and they're like, you'll never change them.
I'll sit here for 30 years, and I'll sit here for another 30 years, and I'll read the fucking Sun, and regardless of what Labour do, I'll vote Labour. Even if they don't exist, I'm going to vote for Labour.
I feel like I've just shriveled and cowered a little bit inside. I can't be doing with all that. That's just grand scale emotional problems, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, no, just get people to deal with their own personal problems. I like that one.
Totally, but collectively, like that, the work that you're doing and that we're doing and all the light workers that are doing is just giving people that it's a different option. It's like a different system. It's a different way of being. But it isn't. It's the truth, really. It's just we've been in a fucked up way of being for thousands of years. And it's now about freeing people up and taking off the shackles. And like when you're working with clients one-to-one, it's like just a little process. And so what tip, you know, I know you're not allowed to share with us what, you know, the girl, what was her name? Jennie Tompkinson, that you told us about her 3 divorces before we came on. And no, I know you're not allowed to share like the information from your clients, but like generally what's kind of like the most kind of prevalent issue that people, is there something specific or?
To be honest, all clients are different, but everything always stems back to childhood. Yeah. So it's something that's gone on there. So, you know, even we're having a client, you know, she was scared of loud noises and like when the thunder and lightning used to go off. And it turned out that when her dad used to sort of come in and like he'd be banging around and stuff like that, you know, domestic violence going on in the household. So your body goes in survival mode, doesn't it? So then it's conditioned then that these loud bangs mean I've got to cower because something bad's going to happen. And, you know, even just getting to the point and healing that when the thunder and lightning's going off now, she'd sit and enjoy it. And it's like, this is the difference of change. So rather than her mindset then being locked into like always, you know, worst case scenario, it freed her mind of the overthinking and the over worrying to then free it up to be able to then create and give that space energetically and mindset wise to be able to do it. And this is the thing that, you know, when I feel like sometimes mindset coaches get a little bit of a bad rep because like, oh, I'm gonna help you manifest £1 million, and it's like, it's not all about that. You know, it's about freeing up your mindset just to be able to create space and love within yourself, because when you do that, that is when your life changes. You know, if someone's coming to me like, what, manifest £1 million, like, don't come and work with me. That's not what I'm about. I want to manifest. I want to be able to clear everything out energetically and mindset-wise, in order for you to be able to just be the best version of yourself that you can be.
And create what you want to create.
Yeah, and
because
create what you want to love.
If you created someone a mindset to just earn £1 million, they'd lose it again straight away.
Yeah, because the thing is, though, you've got lack mindset within that, and it's not what it's about, like, to me.
And £1 million is not going to fucking last you very long. Honestly, £1 million is not being rich. Yeah. You'll get rid of that pretty quickly because most people are financially illiterate. So one of my big things is like what I want to do. People probably watch me here with scarf on and beads, and it's like it's to tap people into financial knowledge, financial intellect. Do you know what I mean? Nobody has it, and it's important. But it's like, definitely within the spiritual community, it's almost like this taboo thing to talk about. It's like, well, if you want to have money and you want to be rich, it's not spiritual, and it's the most spiritual thing you can do, because if you have got that intellect, you can then hold on to it. You can create more wealth, more abundance, more opportunities for yourself, for your family, and then for all of your community. Because if you're coming from a spiritual space, from your heart space, you are wanting to spread what you've got, your understanding of everything. Like, there's people that I follow that are like, talk about the billionaires, the millionaires, they're like totally obsessed with money. But when you listen to them, they're very spiritual as well. And it's like, to have that within that, it's like some of them love fast cars. I've never even heard of them. I'm not into cars. You know what I mean?
Bugatti.
But they're into cars. But then someone else would go, oh, they're into cars. It's so materialistic. It's like, he's a man. He's into cars. Why can't he buy a car that he likes? Why can't he like push himself and stride towards that? Why can't he have a house that does have marble floors? I don't like marble floors. He might fucking like, as long as he likes marble floors. But if he doesn't like marble floors and he's just getting them because he can show off to fucking David down the road, then he's a bellend. But do you know what I mean? He's like, if he actually likes it, you should be able to have whatever you want. We're all kings, gods, goddesses. Like, if you want to be opulent, like, I like a bit of opulence. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I like all different styles. Some styles I don't, you know, not too much. But I'm not going to go, that person's this. It's like, it's not my thing. You know what I mean?
Free abundance. Yeah, definitely.
Abundance. It's energy. Do you know what I mean? That's the truth of nature, is abundance. The truth of the universe is abundance. It's never like, yo, that's not enough of that.
We are born with that limited mindset, aren't we?
Of course we are, and that's the you know, that's the work, is to free people up, especially now, because I feel like, for me as well, I've got such an abundance journey from being in Barcelona in 2020 with £0 as a 37-year-old man.
You wouldn't have got far with pounds in Barcelona.
Like, I wasn't a man. No, but you know what I mean? I didn't have any money. I was eating at a Sikh temple every day and just going, like, how am I 37 and eating at a Sikh temple I've got nothing. And it was like, fuck this, let's get onto this. You know, my yogic path was pretty good. And it was like, how do I learn about this? Surely it's just something I need to put some energy into. Because I knew that anything I put my energy into, I can smash it.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, let's do that. I rang some people up in the spiritual community. What books? Do this. And it was like, they just sent me on the path, and it's like, boom, you know, 4 years later, my business is worth fucking millions, and I'm just like, it's just progressing. But it was from that one moment, like, somebody come up to me in terms of mindset and abundance. She was like, yeah, you know, everything's good. I just feel like the money situation is, I've got blockages. And I was like, okay. And she was like, well, you've started that journey. I'd only just started it then. I was like, yeah. And she was like, what did you do? I was like, well, I read this book. It's called I'm a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. I said, it's a little bit like American, and it's a little bit, but who gives a fuck? Like, she says in the book, would you rather be cool and poor, or rich and not cool? And it's like, I'd rather be rich and not cool, but I can be both. Do you know what I mean?
Both.
But I don't want to be, I'm going to be cool because it's cool. It's not cool to talk about money. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm just going to stay here. Can't really afford my fucking house. Can't afford my car. I'm struggling to eat. It looks to people that I'm doing all right, but I'm fucking struggling. But I look cool. Do you know what I mean? I've got a nice jacket. It's like, dickhead. So but this woman sat me down and she was like, you know, would you recommend that? I was like, yeah, I'd recommend that book, definitely. And she was like, well, could you borrow it me? I went, definitely not. And she was like, why? I went, so you want to get abundant by borrowing somebody's work? I went, fucking no. I went, go and buy the woman's book, give her some money. That's a good start on your abundance journey. I've never seen her since. God knows if she bought the fucking book. Hopefully she did, and hopefully she's a fucking millionaire by now. But don't lend people things. It's like when people wanted to come to yoga with me for years, be like, it's not a team sport. Like, I don't need a team to go to yoga with me. It's your journey. You need to push yourself to go to yoga, to take that first step onto the mat, or that first step to go in to whatever. If you want to come, you know, you want to be there at the same time as me, but it's that getting people that understanding that you're on your own. You are on your own. I think as well, though, like you've just said with that woman in the book, and how you just said with your spiritual journey, is you've got to be able to invest in yourself, and you just to sit there and expect like change just to happen just for free. Everything that I've done along my life, I've had to like put money into it, like to become a coach. I've had to pay for my qualification. I did a degree in psychology many moons ago. I've had to pay for all that, but it's all paying for itself now, if that makes sense. But you can't just expect change to come like, yeah, but I don't want to fork out for anything. And it's like, you know, you've got to do the work, haven't you? You've got to read these self-help books. I think one of the best things that I've ever read, and it did it did lead to my spiritual awakening, and it was Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. So I read it in the middle of COVID, and I think, again, that was one of the books to me that showed that I can heal myself. I've got the ability to heal my body.
But when I was reading the book, again, mindset coming into play, I'd read, he was like, people had spontaneous remissions and people have healed themselves. And him himself, he was in a car crash, absolutely smashed all the vertebrae.
It was a bike, wasn't it, I think? Pretty sure it was a bike.
Crashed.
Was in a crash,
Sorry, I'll just say crash. He was in a crash, smashed all his vertebrae, and they told that he'd never walk again.
Yeah.
And in his mind, he fused them all and fixed them all back in together. And now, obviously, he's out and about on stage and things. And so, again, it shows, it's like, well, if that's possible for you, that's possible for me. And then again, with these people that were having spontaneous remissions and stuff like that, well, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me.
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
a voice in my head was going, yeah, but that'll never happen to you.
Yeah.
That'll never happen. So obviously with that pyruvate kinase deficiency, this blood disease, I'm like, I can heal this. I can heal it. So again, it was putting into that. But yeah.
A lot of people aren't prepared to put like Joe Dispenza, what he does and when he talks about it, when he's healing his back, it's a super intense, long process. What was he doing? Like 3 or 4 times a day? Healing, going through each little thing,
vertebrae,
imagining
fusing
them together, healing the whole thing, like proper, like, most people just go lie down and go, oh, I hope the doctor give me the right medication. I'm just going to watch Netflix and because I'm out of action, I'm just going to watch Netflix like every day until the doctor says that I can move. And it's like, take no responsibility, take no personal inventory of the situation, take no fact that you are the best person to heal your body because you're fucking in it. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can feel everything, and that's that desensitization of the food that we eat, the stuff that we drink, the drugs that we take. And it's like to not connect, and that's what is great about the yogic thing about getting on a mat. It's like, oh, my body, like, whoa.
I love being intuitive on the yoga mat. Just feeling into where you need to.
But just like people have never been aware of the body, it's like, your arse is stuck out. No, and it's like, your arms are actually. I said, put your arms at shoulder height. They're here. It's like, what the fuck is that? That's not shoulder height. Like, they're shoulder height. It's like unaware of just their own. Like, this is the thing that we should be the most aware of. Like, we're in it, we're living it, we're showing it to the world every day. It's like, how do we present it? How do we sit? Everything. Like what I say to you the other day, I was like, sit up right. It's like, come here, sit up right, because you're like this. It's like the worst energy, like you're giving off. Like, hi.
Sorry, I wasn't there on display.
I'm Jennie.
I'm Jennie.
So it's like, just no.
It's Quasimodo for the day. Just working on my hump.
But I do that to people. It's like, just pull them back, because instantly it's like, it's giving you this little bit more confidence, this little bit of chest out, peacocking. Do you know what I mean? It's like straight away you feel more in your body, you feel more alive, your spine's straighter, your chakras are lit up. So it's just super simple things about moving the body, getting into the breath, getting into the mindset. And like with Joe, that's the great thing about Joe Dispenza. He doesn't wear a fucking scarf that's got an arm on it. He's like a scientist, isn't he? But he's very spiritual in his undertaking. So that's when someone comes about the spiritual and the science, it's like, Joe Dispenza's the guy. Do you know what I mean?
He's providing evidence for manifestation.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, loads of people that I say it to, they're like, oh, it's woo-woo. And I'm like, okay, try then. Like, it's not woo-woo.
Yeah.
It is actually quantum science.
Yeah.
Like, because we are cells, we are atoms, and what we're actually doing, like the visualization, is you're programming the cells within your body.
Yeah.
So I love all the stuff that he breaks down. Like even some of his stuff that he said that he took 2 people and one of them was working out in the mind, to say like they were working out the biceps in the mind, and whereas somebody else was actually working the biceps out, and the one that had just worked them out in the mind had just built as much muscle as the one that had actually been doing it, because your mind doesn't know the difference between a real experience or like a visually made up one. So yeah, it's all so interesting. But yeah,
so is he your go-to guy to like give to your students? To, do you call them students or clients?
Clients.
Your clients.
My clientele.
Would you say read Joe Dispenza?
I think people struggle with Joe Dispenza because it is very scientific, and I've got an audiobook at the moment, Dr. Bruce Lipton. Again, it's the same thing, and I think where some people get lost in the terminology, so they turn it off. So there's other books I've read as well, or audiobooks. So Greg Braden, The Spontaneous Power of Belief. So that's only 4 hours long, and I feel like it's taken everything that Dr. Joe's done, but he really breaks it down in the sense of like shot on the mat. It's dead easy to follow. And I feel like when the wording's a little bit more user friendly, you'll take on board what it says. Whereas I like to just throw myself into like all the long epigenetics and the long words of it.
Epigenetics.
But epigenetics.
I like that word.
We do.
It's never been said in Wythenshawe before. So what's the like? Obviously, coaching, life's good, family's good, relationships are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the plan with your business? What you know? Do you want it to expand more, or is it just like collect a number of clients like consistently? And how do you? Because obviously, like being a mindset and manifestation coach, it's like how do you know? Because a lot of like counsellors and stuff, it's like I've got to keep them coming for 6 sessions, like. Whereas I'm like, hopefully they just come. When I was doing one-to-ones, it's like hopefully they just come for one and I don't have to see them again because then I've done my job. Do you know what I mean? But how do you? What's the? Is it just to then spread out and support more and more people by like this kind of like spider web of effect, or is there a way that you would retain your clients?
Yeah.
Is that a long question?
No, I've got it fully programmed. So I offer different packages depending on obviously what the results people want. But my most popular one is the Align Authentic Self. So and I'd actually named that in 2021, and then more recently I've channeled that's what I actually help people do. It's a remembering. So I help them, if you imagine like the lotus flower, just help them peeling back the petals, all the bullshit, all the programming of society, to unearth their true self, to align with their authentic self.
Yeah.
So that is my 3-month program. And then once people have completed it, most people like the ongoing support with things, so they just kind of still continue to work with you. So it's only like if you work with any other coach, like a business coach, they'll give you all the knowledge that you need, but sometimes
you
people
need to
just
keep tapping in every now and again.
It's just nice to just kind of like, you know, keep on a level. So I do find that people kind of stay on and work with me as well, which is good. So I like to kind of see people on their journeys.
Yeah. But then you do the what's it called? The Gateway to Higher Self.
Yeah.
With
So started the Gateway to the Higher Self with Catherine Henshaw. So that's going really well, and that is a sellout event as well. Which again, I think we're going to upscale on that one, go to bigger venues. So that's all on
No, it's not spiritual to upscale. You need to stay small.
See, I do like the building that we're in at the moment, and like I feel like people come for the glass window, but
yeah, but you know, sometimes you outgrow a glass window.
Oh no.
But like the glass window, keep you small.
But I feel like again though, the universe is giving me everything that I need to do to be able to reach the right people. So I've been asked to sort of, obviously I've started a podcast as well with Amy Goodwin. So we've got Align and Activate, Raw Talks and Universal Truths. So yeah, we just cover different spiritual things on that. So that's on YouTube. And then again, just universe is like, right, we want you to start public speaking. So I've been asked to do some sort of public speaking and keynote speaking at different events. So again, it's just spreading out that message of how to help people can help. I get a lot.
And where does you come? Sorry. No.
I get a lot of people, you know, that have trying to start their own business as well.
Yeah.
I find that this is one, because again, it's that mindset of like, I don't know if I can do it. And it's like, of course you can. This is what you're meant to do. You're not meant to work at Tesco for the rest of your life. Sort your head out. Let's get out.
Start your business. Just start it.
Yeah.
It's like, but what do we need? Start it.
Do it.
People, if you need something, people will tell you as you go in. Like people have rang me, can I come in and look at what you do in your office? What's your business? Is this? It's got nothing to do with my business. It wouldn't be helpful for you to come in. But can I sit down? I don't know you. Why would I give you like an hour of my time? I don't know who you are. Like, and what's your business? Oh, it's yoga mats. Go to fucking events, start selling your yoga mats. Do you know what I mean? Just get out. Like was like, I've just come back from Kendall Calling. I feel knackered. I realised this week, I was like, I have been smashing it for 3 years. I've not stopped, man. It's like I need a holiday. I need a little bit of, it feels like a time where a lot of things now are kind of like in the right place that they need to be. It's like I need a little bit of rest. Like at Kendall Calling, I was like saying to the guy who was with me, Rick, I was like, I'd usually be just out, but I was like pushing the cacao. I was like, let's just push it here. Do you know what I mean? It was like we're doing our thing. We was getting, you know, the cacaos just amazing. Like people were coming up to it wasn't our stall. It was in Tim Peake's cafe, which is like Tim Birch's cafe, and it was like on the menu, full power cacao. So it wasn't like coffee, tea, herbal, cacao. It was coffee, tea, full power cacao. So people like listening to people order from this staff that were working it, going, can we have 4 full power cacaos, please? I was like, fucking yes. Getting the branding in there. But it's not just the branding, it's the affirmation. You're saying full power. You're not saying, can I have a partially powered, kind of like mildly effective cacao, please? Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm drinking full power.
Full
Like,
power.
even if I get another cacao that's exactly the same as me, but he's named something else, like Stephen's Cacao, I'd be like, ugh, fucking drink full power. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I had loads of questions for you then. Yeah, within this, like, where can you see, like, what's it called? The event you do with Catherine?
Gateway to the higher self.
So where can you see the gateway to the higher self go? And what does it consist of? Again, Catherine talked us through it, but what's your
I will talk you through it as
spin on
well.
it?
So we've got myself and Catherine Henshaw, psychic medium, light language channel. I can't help but say a name. Catherine Henshaw, psychic medium. Like, you just have to say it all in one go, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to explain about what's been going on with that as well. So obviously I've known Catherine since like 2005, 2006, and we was cheesy quavers, ravers in the back day. In the back?
No.
No.
In the... What's the fucking terminology? Oh, it's like Mandela effect. That word's gone now. They've taken it.
In the day back. Wow, that's lost one.
Back in the day.
Back in the
yes.
day. In the back. Back in
In
day.
the back of me cupboard.
But we had a mutual friend, so we'd all meet up together. So Catherine was best mates with this girl, and I was best mates with this girl. But Catherine used to always say to me, like, I can never work you out. And I'm like, why are you trying to? You do know what I mean? Like, what do you need to? But I feel like she wasn't ever really supposed to kind of read into me, because if she would have told back then in 2006, by the way, you two are going to be like energetic sisters, and, you know, you're going to be smashing the spiritual world with your ceremonies, like, would have been like, what? Like, you know, she was just at the start of, or in the midst of her cocaine addiction, so it wouldn't have come about. Do you know what I mean? So again, like, the universe reveals to you at the time what you need to know. So yeah, she's been sort of channeling for a while. It's like, we're a siamistic energy. We are energetic sisters. So if you imagine stood next to each other, if we unzipped our human beings, our energy would be twin energy, so Siamese. So she's been channeling it for quite a while. And again, no, when information doesn't resonate with you, it's just a case of like, right, okay, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. That's kind of what I thought. And then it's only, and again, your cacao has played a massive part in my ability to channel, because by clearing out all this debris, I'm going to call it, of like the past and the trauma, getting rid of it all, it's made space then for me to be able to tap into my channeling ability. And like, even in the morning when I have myself a cacao, I'll go and sit outside on the grass, and it just opens me up, and I'll just be there crying and just like, you know, just channeling beautiful stuff. So as I've started to channel myself and the information's come through me, I'm like, she's actually not making it up. Like, this is real, you know, this is happening. So yeah, so we're only on the cusp of this right at the beginning. So where this is going to go, I haven't a clue, but I've got like visions of, you know, like how, I say it again, Dr. Joe Dispenza is in like big like seminar halls, isn't he? He's got thousands and thousands of people. People are going to be coming to see us. I know this sounds proper big-headed, but this is what the universe is showing me. But that's where I see it, you know, because it's a synergistic energy between the two of us, where she's obviously doing like the more mediumship side, but raising people's vibration. I'm doing the more mindset side, and obviously helping people release the trauma of their past. So between the two of us, it's like, you know, come to and experience our ceremony, and like, you know, we're going to help you with your ascension. Again, it's this whole collective job, this collective message that we're doing. It's like just trying to raise the vibration of the planet. So yeah, so we're in the gateway to your higher self. We've got we have faith in the universe as well. So we have shamanic drumming, we have the crystal bowls, there's meditations, there's guided visualizations, there's lots of gifts and invocations. We do some healing. I do lots of manifestation and mindset workshops. So yeah, it just gives people an opportunity to come in, write a list of all the bullshit, get them to tear it up, get them to throw it, you know, realize that like by setting intentions you can move forward in your life. So we always get lots of really good feedback from it, you know, because it is a ceremony like no other kind of thing. And obviously we serve full power cacao at our ceremony.
Yeah, baby.
So yeah, just to help open people up and just get ready for what they're going to receive, really. So
it just, yeah, that's the thing with the cacao, isn't it? Like, that it basically is that little it just loosens people up a bit, doesn't it? It makes them more open, more receptive to whatever's going on in any situation, whether it's a dance, whether it's a workshop like yours, it's a meditation, whatever is happening, it just gets you in there a little bit quicker.
Cracks open the shell.
Yeah, and just to let you know, guys, this episode is sponsored by Kleenex because Jenny's talked about crying a lot and she uses a lot of tissues. So if Kleenex want to send us a few free boxes of tissues, Jenny will use them, so then send us a few more so we can use them.
Drinking them out,
like,
traumatized.
I cried loads, and then I did this, and then I cried loads, and then I was outside, I cried loads, then I had a cacao and I cried again.
But I'd just like to point out as well, there's nothing wrong with crying.
No, crying's good, man.
It's the release of energy. I feel like as kids, you know, like, stop crying.
No,
don't say anything, and it's like, and then we sit there like.
That's what when people like, when you was at my ceremony, people were like, "She okay?" It's like, "Fuck yeah, she's good, man. Like, keep going, girl.
Full power
get it all
crying.
out, get it all out, like, get it all out." It's like other ceremonies, it's like come and get attention. It's like just fucking don't let them just do the thing, man. Don't block. Like if you go and touch somebody, it might just jolt them out of their experience.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
if they're really, really struggling, yeah, go and hold space, but just let people release. You know, and that's what the beautiful thing about the cacao ceremony is. I think, like, when Nick comes to the first one, he's like, someone crying and there's one dancing next to him, and it's like, what's... It's like a fucking madhouse.
But
it's
actually,
like,
she not be
just
checking
like,
on her.
She's good. Just dance around her.
As long as she's breathing, she's fine. Just let her cry.
Yeah. If she's dead, just roll her out.
See, it makes me laugh though, like, again, everyone's on their own little journey, but like the whole room will be up and like jumping around, and then you've just got that one Norman, no friends that's like not feeling the music, I don't want to dance, I'm embarrassed of what's happening, do you know what I mean? It's like...
But the funniest thing is some of those are like ravers, but they can't do it sober.
Yes.
They just can't like drop into it without being out and like on substances.
Oh my God, I just love to dance. I just want to dance wherever.
If the music's good, man, I can dance like, you know. If the music, that's the great thing about being sober. It's like, if the music's shit, I'm going.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's not like, I'm going to take loads of things so that I can dance to this shite music or this really bad DJ. It's like, no, actually, I'm going to go and find something good that makes my body want to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back. What's your, like, what is it that happens what is it that we offer, that myself, P, the ceremonies offer, that like you think is like super appealing, that because we don't know what goes on in there. I usually have my eyes closed when I'm really dropping to my higher self. My eyes are closed, I'm gone, and sometimes I just look at P and she's like, they were all gone for ages then, you took them somewhere else. I
Yeah.
like, I don't really know what's going on, I just do my thing and like let God come through me, or let whatever it is come through me.
I think it's obviously when you're playing your harmonium, and I think you call this as your meditation, don't you? And again, though, I've been to many different ceremonies of yours, and you kind of are channeling the same things, but it's what you're saying, though. And it's, if people are on the cusp of feeling the emotion, you're like, just let it all out. And it's like, what you're saying, people then do. And it's like, release all this, do this. And it's like, you're just kind of talking people through, and you're giving them a space to just release. The word release just keeps coming up, because this is what I feel that you enable and facilitate with people the most. And it is just a case of like, just because I think we're so tightly wound in society nowadays, especially within the Western world, and it's like we're holding on to everything. And like with the cacao, you're kind of loosening them up. With your harmonium, you're loosening them up. But then when you're talking through and you're doing that, and it's a guided meditation like no other, because the way you're playing, obviously you've got the frequency. I don't know whether you've ever looked into the hertz of the notes that you play to see what, you know, effect that's having on people. Yeah. But again, though, just the melodies of it and the words that you're actually saying, that's one of the things that's inside it, that's brought about quite a lot of emotion and release for me. Just everything that you're saying, and it's just such a good space just to feel zen and in the moment. And especially at the last one you went to, you had the guy on the drum with it as well.
James the drummer.
James, everyone was a James.
Djembe. We had 7 Jameses there that day. There was 10 men and 7 Jameses.
He's like, someone in the audience called James. Someone's like, yeah. Everyone's called James. But no, it's just, again, no, like I can only say at the beginning of my journey. And I feel like I see this a lot of people, you know, are like, oh, you know, book onto the gateway. Like, but I've never been to one before. But I've got no one to come with. And I'm like, good. come on your own. Like, you don't need someone to come and hold your hand. Like, I will sit you next to someone so you've got, like, you know, someone to natter with. But as soon as you walk into the space, you know, you're not walking into, like, a space with loads of judgmental eyes on you. And, like, it's just a case of just come and be. Everyone in the room is on the same vibe. Everyone in the room wants to experience what you've come to experience. Yeah. So it is just a spiritual community. So
the gateway is kind of like your way of getting to more people. Do you know what I mean? Because you one-to-ones, you know, you can only do one-to-one, one person at a time in an hour. Whereas like you do an event for 50 people, 60 people, you keep building them up, and some people are like, because that's what someone said to me, they're like, you know, I don't understand how you can do cacao ceremonies for 150 people. Isn't it like an intimate experience? It's like, no, because the way I do it, it involves everybody, and actually I don't think in any way they've been weakened. I think they've actually, my cacao ceremonies get better the more people that are there.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you don't have the intimacy, and I still love it. Like when I get a space that's really small, but I want it rammed. I want as many bodies in that space as possible. Like if it's a small space that they go, yeah, we could get 8 in here. I'm like, let's get 35 people in here because it's going to be fucking awesome. Do you know what I mean? It's like I want to have an effect on as many human beings in one hit as I can get now. If that means 1,000, that means 2,000, 10, whatever. It's like, just let's do it. Imagine a cacao ceremony for 10,000 people. It'd be like off the scale, and like just have like, we'd have to have a team of like 200 people. Like,
handing out the cacao.
Yeah, we'd get sponsored by like someone who with the little rattles, and then they could give rattles to everybody. It's like, you know what I mean? It'd go off, man. And I think the way, the projection with everything that, you know, like you and Catherine, 10 years ago, you'd get 5 people at your event.
Yeah.
Me, 10 years ago, would get 5 people at my event. 10 if I marketed it really well. But who wants to go to a cacao ceremony 10 years ago? Who would have gone to a gateway to the higher self?
What's that? Hot chocolate? What?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like everything is as it should be in the correct moment, and the more that we can get this work out there, and the more people's lives we can have a positive impact on, you know, is a blessing. So
definitely.
I appreciate your work.
Thank you. I appreciate your work.
Thank you.
But yeah, you're right on the space thing though, because I was on your last one, it was 150 people, wasn't it, at Bowden Rooms? Yeah. And I think in my head it was like, that's a lot of people, I'm quite hesitant. But when I walked in and the room had been dressed beautifully, and I didn't realise that you guys had actually come in and done that, you know, with all the lighting and everything. And just the stage presence that you had, and just the room, and obviously Catherine and I were we'd had the privilege of being able to welcome people in and saging people. And Phil, my partner, had said, you know, people were coming in and they were dead excited, you know, because it's like, this is what it's about. It's an experience. It's not just a case of like, come in and sit on your mat. It's the whole experience of the day. So it was just beautiful. And even though there was 150 people in, it didn't seem like it was too many. It was just...
Did the one before. Yeah, it was like 230, we were like, oh, they told us you could get 500 people stood up. So we thought, it's like, oh no. And then everyone was coming to me like, yeah, it's like there's no space. I was like, just fucking squeeze them together.
Yeah, I think someone had said somewhere like, oh, you know, you can have them set up. I'm like, no, I believe every ceremony you should be able to lay down, because when you're on the meditation, you want to lay down.
You can't make people sit up for 5 hours.
No, it's uncomfortable. You feel like you're in a school assembly, and then that's when the bad posture is going to come in, and you go around doing all your corrections.
So is there anything else you want to talk about before we go? Football, cricket, politics, any shopping, like the price of bread's gone up by 3p this week.
Do you think Trump's going to get in?
I'm in crisis. Do I think Trump's going to get in?
Everything you've just said there.
I don't even fucking know. It's like, just don't pay any interest. Like, it's like, what the fuck's it got to do with my life?
I can't stand any of that. Can't stand football, politics.
How's Coronation Street at the moment? Have you watched it recently?
No, do you know what? Years ago, stopped watching it.
Oh, you used to watch it?
Once upon a time. I just used to have it on in the background. But telling me you didn't watch it?
I did when I was like, oh, my Rottweiler used to be able to sing in tune to the theme tune.
What?
She used to go,
Do you ever have her on EastEnders?
No, she wasn't into EastEnders. She couldn't understand it because she was northern.
I think the more work you do on your vibration, you realise that people's bullshit and what you consume brings you down. Like
it's terrible.
Yeah, it's so like, you know, when people are gossiping or even films or especially things like that, everything's got an agenda. Everything's meant to like suck the soul out of you.
Yeah, because I was actually speaking to Chris Hawkins, who's I think it's Hawkins. He's not related to Stephen, by the way. I don't think he is. He is English. He could be. I didn't ask him, but I assume he's not related to Stephen Hawkins. Sorry.
It's probably not even his name. He probably got his name wrong.
But basically, he does Six Music, and because I don't know him because I haven't listened to Six Music for years.
It's a radio station.
Yeah, it's a radio station, and it's the best radio station. But it has the news on it, so I can't listen to anything that has the news on it. And he was like, I said, I've stopped watching it like 5-6 years ago. Listening to it 5-6 years ago, I said, because I can't do with the negativity of the news. He went, you'll play like a high vibrational tune and then you've got the fucking news on. It's like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to be forced into that fucking low vibe bullshit that actually is probably untrue anyway. And he was like, it's funny that, because like a lot of people are saying that now, that like they don't want the news to be on the radio station. I was like, 100%. That's why like the guys from Buzz FM who were on our podcast, I'm like, I manifested you two because I wanted a radio station with no news that still I could listen to, that I don't, because all I listen to is like my Discovery Weekly, and I love my Discovery Weekly, but it's like, still what? Why can't I listen to the radio? Why? I was like, why don't Phil might be able to do this? Invent an app that you put on a DAB radio that just plays like white noise during the news because it's better than that toxicity, or just plays like, some like
just
tweeting birds or something. It just
right.
like pops in an app that just pops, knows the news is coming, fucks the news off, and just like plays something like that doesn't affect your vibration. What do you reckon? Can he do that? That's her boyfriend, by the way. He's called Phil, and he creates apps.
He does. Phil at Endeavour, apps and websites.
Apps and websites.
Apps and websites. But yeah, he's just done a radio app actually. So maybe, and there's no news on that one.
I'll invest.
I'll invest. Maybe this is you've got a business proposal for him.
I might have, yeah. Can you go back with him? That's the only reason I've got you here. I wanted an Phil for this radio app that's going to take over the world, revolutionise the radio.
Oh, see, I don't even listen to radio. I listen to hardcore still. That's my guilty pleasure.
Oh my God, man.
That is a high vibrational music.
I can't. It's not my vibration.
As soon as they have it on, I'm like, Again, though, that's another thing, though. Like I was saying, you've got to listen to your body intuitively.
Yeah.
And I've done it before where I've dropped Harvey off at school and I'm like, I need to go home and dance. So I'll go home, put that Club Filler on because he's my favourite, and I'll be dancing, stomping. And then I'll stop, I'll be screaming and crying again, sponsored by Kleenex. And then again, put the tunes on and I'll be dancing again. And it's just like, it's all just releasing energy. Got so much to give.
Yeah, man, if you like hardcore, play hardcore.
I love
That's
it.
what you got to do, isn't it?
What do you listen to?
Not hardcore.
What do you listen to then?
I like drum and bass and like world music and all. Also I like a bit of electro, just stuff that makes me.
Are you a skanker?
I like skanking, yeah.
I
like Shy FX. I like that dirty. I watched the Streets play "Take Me As I Am" the other night at Kendall Calling, and that was banging. But yeah, I like sober raves and ecstatic dances.
Drum and bass.
But drum and bass is like.
See, that's 180 BPM as well.
Go-to.
So you are on the sound of same.
But it's a different frequency. We might be from a different planet, and my planet might not be able to handle hardcore. Your planet is just like got another planet that's just thumping against it all day. Dum, 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 dum. So you're used to that.
That was EastEnders beginning that. Dum, 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 dum.
You should make a happy hardcore EastEnders tune. Dum, 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 dum.
I love it. It's just a high vibrational music. You can't help it if you can't keep up with it. You're getting old now, aren't you?
I don't do speed either, so I think you need to do speed to dance to hardcore. That's what I always thought. I was like,
that's an urban legend.
Right, we've got a few more questions for you anyway before you go. And have we got anything else for her?
Can do.
Oh, throw us that thing as well. We got you a back massager, that pink thing. We got you this. If anyone who's just listening and can't see it, it's a back massager. There you go.
Thank you. The gift of the day.
Yeah, look at that.
The gift that keeps on giving.
You stick it on a window and then you massage your back on it.
Thanks for
But
that.
say Full Power Cacao doesn't give you anything.
I feel like it's not the Full Power Cacao branding
Can
now.
you say the Full Power Podcast but with explosive P's? It's like the worst name for a podcast. The Full Power Podcast!
Phil and I like doing explosive peas. We were doing it one time.
Pop it like it's hot.
We were doing it one time at a meal, and when he'd done an explosive pea, he blew the candle out, but we were in a dead dark restaurant. Ready? Full Power Podcast.
Full Power Podcast.
Full Power Podcast.
There we go. There you go. Edit that in sound. Nick.
bye.